Rhapsody, Monster Train, let's go. Why use Many Word when few word do trick? We've got 2 Immortal Trades, 2 copies of Hornbreak, and a single copy of Feast here. We've got the Penumbra and the Exiled beginner cards for other clan. Happy to have the Hornbreaks and the Immortal Trades in the base deck. Feast, not so much, but we'll see. We'll see. I think I should probably look at my relics before I take this, right? Because Architect works with basically anything, right? There's not that many relic considerations that would make me take Architect. Although, actually Ashes would, but I would take Ashes as a priority here anyway, right? Morsel related things obviously kind of want me to go Glutton, and I kind of want to go Glutton as well. We've got a Feast in the deck, try and give that holdover, try and do some stuff like that. That'd be interesting. But what's the other path? Monstrous? Yeah, pretty much any of the relics I would take for each of those would be taken individually anyway. Well, that's Winged Steel. Commemorative Spike versus Jackstrips. Jackstrips is just more impactful. Neither of those really leads us in either direction here. Yeah, exactly. So I kind of do want to take Glutton and just see how I can go with that. It's also supported by Lifesteal, which we have the ability to support ourselves as well with the Immortal Trade. Sure. It's been a long time since I've had a Glutton Penumbra. Units appear on each floor. Sure, whatever. Whatever floats your boat. Because they're all going to die. So we'll Shapeshifty. Yeah, and you can take 10 damage. I don't love that whole discipled foot soldier situation I'm seeing just there. That's that there, and then that in front. Yeah, because I don't want you to gain a Slay trigger. If at all that's possible for us. Alright, Shade Splitter. I was considering using the Feast, but I want the extra energy next turn. I don't think I have to start playing Immortal Traits yet. Yeah. Definitely wouldn't want to rather be locked out of the ability to play any of those. Jackstrips is so useful here. And there you go. Now you can have some Ember Drain. And that'll do it. Nice. Packed Morsels. It's the only one out of these that we're kind of missing at the moment. Jump. Fortify, Welder Helper, Fledgling Imp. This basically comes down to, am I running a secondary floor? Which we have to, right? Because the Glutton Penumbra is a floor unto itself. It is itself plus however many minions you can put into it, right? It's a good boss scaler. It's just not a really great wave dealing kind of thing. It can't sweep, it can't trample yet. Maybe we diversify into monstrous later on. It doesn't have multi-strike. How's it really going to project its damage, right? We don't have spells, great spells that is to say, for targeting the backline in these two classes. We got decent ones. Hornbreak's not bad. We just don't have incredible ones. So if I have to run a second floor anyway, then Fledgling Imp or Welder Helper, right? The only problem is I don't know what my unit for the second floor is going to be. It's almost certainly going to be Merchant of Steel, Hellhorned, and then maybe Merchant of Steel Umbra, but honestly probably the Merciless Horde here. Especially if we get a unit draft such that I can actually get something from that Hellhorn banner that I want. Do I have to worry about scaling defense or scaling offense first? Scaling offense. Take the fledgling imp then. Merchant of Steel. Archstone, Battlestone, Strengthstone. I mean, like, Consumer of Crowns is the best thing I can find here, but what about something realistic? I'd take the Horned Warrior. Branded Warrior, Demon Friend. Branded Warrior can definitely be part of a damage scaling plan for that secondary floor. I'm a lot less enthusiastic about this than I would want to be. Could make it a frontliner, give it the large stone. But then how many imps am I going to be playing on that floor, right? Well, the imps have to be chump blocking. Well, if I'm chump blocking with imps on a secondary floor with a branded warrior, that's what, the bottom floor? I'm going to need capacity. Maybe that's okay right now. You get the capacity after the next boss. How am I going to give them armor later on? Are we ever going to capacity? Who could the demon friend get put inside of that would make it good? Horned Warrior again. Well, let's try this. I don't have a huge amount of faith in this. Let me get out front of that and say that. So we're going to take that money and then do the reroll here, because Endless is not a whiff, neither is Multi-Strike. Multi-Strike. Okay. That's fine. They can have spikes all they'd like if they're going to die when they move floor. Well, you know, save this one. Yeah. Wee bit Ember Drain. That's happened. That Immortal Trade's real good. You know what? There you go. Cop that trade. Pretty pleased with these floors, frankly. Yep. That one's simple. Actually picked up minions, we've upgraded them, makes the fights not that bad. Oh, Space Prism. Thank you. Capacity is one of the things we were asking for there. It's difficult. All of these are good. So, why are all of these so good? Hidden Passage. Such great utility. Pop an enemy frontliner out of their position, they go to the back of a different line, you know, they're a 0-5 billion, you know, 0 attack, 5 billion health kind of character. Obviously super useful. Obviously also useful for overstacking your own floors. We're less likely to do that here because we have morsels and imps that we want to play on the floors with other things, so we don't really want to be overstacking. So it's lost a lot of its value. Which means we can start to consider instead Welder Helper and Fledgling Imp here. So the Welder Helper is armor 10, and on summon gives armor 10 to all friendly units on that floor. And then there's the Fledgling Imp, which is summon for rage 5 to friendly units. I kind of like the idea of trying to get the Welder Helper and then put the other Fledgling Imp that I already drafted into the Welder Helper and then make that endless. And then the idea is that just every single turn I play a Welder Helper as a way to support the offense and defense of a floor. Okay. Cool. Ooh, Divine Artifacts already? I mean, Divine Advanced Prototype makes everything very simple for a while here. But the thing is, everything is very simple for me right now already. I think I benefit more from the 25 and turning this down. Yeah, we'll be cutting over here. Apply damage shield 2 to the first friendly unit summoned each turn. Well, that makes our chump blocking very powerful. That's nice, at least. Ooh, that's nice. Value stone a nothing. True stone. Oh no, those are already piercing. Gosh. Petty theft. I can't just purge the branded warrior or anything like that. What spell would I purge here? Maybe one of the horn breaks? Maybe space prism? Let's go. Come one of these horn breaks. Not super thrilled about that. Alright. And then we sack the fledgling imp because it's is summon 5 range to friendly. Yeah, I'm still gonna want to be able to project damage back, defense backwards with the armor. So we sack the fledgling imp. No, wait, that means we have to sack the welder imp if I want to be able to project defense backwards. Yes. Ooh, almost screwed that one up. Okay, so now what I'm looking for, I mean, you know, I would like the dupe, but I would really like Endless on it beforehand. Hellhorned unit, that's our final opportunity to pick up a Hellhorned unit. It's probably not bad. Unless maybe I just want to dupe the one that I already have. But then I have nothing to socket into you before I dupe you. I guess I could put a Queen's Impling in you, or Shiny Seward, 515. Queen's Impling for 40 damage to the front enemy unit. That'll trigger your Slay. So, it's got that on its side at least. Yeah, if this got 2 more HP off of the Fortress Disciple, I would play it now. There you go. Ah, well. Let's see that space prism up there. Nice. I love when one character dutifully takes all of the damage. So what I'm really looking for is, like, am I going to get Frost? Am I going to get Rage-related relics? Well, that makes the Branded Warrior a lot easier to focus on. Am I going to get Imp-related relics? Well, that makes all the Imp stuff easier to focus on. Morsel-related things? Morsel's easier to focus on. Capacity-related things? Penumbra, Multi-Strike, Penumbra again, right? We're leaving ourselves open to a bunch of different paths. Grg's Goad takes us back to the Branded Warrior being a demon. Gotta get those morsels down. I'll take the extra energy this turn. Nice. Just gotta get rid of as many of these cards as possible. I do not want to have any more cards here, please. Alright. I wouldn't have been entirely surprised, honestly, to kill the boss. I actually don't think I still will. Yeah, exactly. I was about to say. I still don't think I will be entirely surprised when it just happens here. Shortly after which it happened then. Ooh, maybe the minion here. Oh, we didn't get a minion here. Umbra Stone is real good. Shroud Spike's also really good. It's because we have multi-strike on this that I feel more capable of taking the Shroud Spike. But maybe that's even more reason that it should take the Penumbra. In case this can't cut down the frontline unit, and then it's not gaining rage, and then a very healthy frontline unit just gets to the top. I mean, how are we dealing with 90s at the moment? We're not. And we suddenly have to deal with 90s and 95s, right? So... Well, that asked me to take the Shroud Spike, but the ability to deal with them as well as the units behind them asked me to take the Umbra Stone. There's that Horned Warrior I was asking for. What would I put inside the... Oh, right. No. We have a upcoming space for that. I will take a Light of the Seraph. We're going capacity. It's just that kind of a day. I messed up. Where's my next dupe? Oh, God. Oh, it's very far away. Oh dear. The problem here is this gives fragile and multi-strike, so if that goes into the branded warrior and then I dupe the branded warrior, I kill both of them quite consistent. Okay, well, we'll veer out of that plan then. We're not going to be duping the branded warrior. I think that's fine. It was still just like a thing that I wanted to do. Just floating around up there, not specific, you know? That Twin Stone actually wouldn't be bad on the Umbra Stone. And then I would have to get a Value Stone in a different one later. Twin Stone also on the Space Prism, not bad here either. Big reasoning that I wanted on the Umbra Stone is so that I can put it on both the Penumbra as well as the Branded Warrior. But again, it would require a cost reduction. Although, if I just played this, I would then be able to play the next one next cycle. For 3, sure, but I would. Space Prism, I would be able to play both at once. Okay. Intriguing. Can I really afford to make the Horned Warrior in the backline fragile? That just feels like it dies. Well, then it's my job to figure out how it doesn't die when it does that. Consume removal. Interesting. Having the packed morsels stay in the deck is pretty dang good. Hornbreak, well, 30 is the limit that typically wants to reach. Queen Simplings are pretty useless here. Shiny Sewers take up more space. Do I care about my first cycle or my second cycle? First cycle. I have a lot of setup to do on my Penumbra, which should be sitting around here. But it's not. Alright, Divine Temple. Do it to it. I'm still not certain about this, but my goal is to find a way to make this work. With that Space Prism, maybe we no longer need to take another capacity after this. Yeah, gotta get the Glutton to grow faster, sorry. I guess I could afford a card removal, but that's about it right now. Merchant of Steel, unstable water. Yeah, I do want to go to that Merchant of Steel, because now we're looking for upgrades to try and defend the unit. The fragile unit. Enemies enter with armor 15. This is pretty bad because the Eclipse Warrior is entering with 105. That's a lot of HP. That said, if I can kill the frontliner, yeah. It's not going to make too much difference. Ah. Yeah, this is the worst case, right? The Horned Warrior attacks a couple times here and actually dies. Even if I put it down with the 2 damage shield, it attacks once, it attacks twice, it attacks thrice and dies. 45 damage. It's a 45 damage spell right there. Well, I mean, this isn't good yet. It's not going to be good yet. We just need to use it for damage right now. We can't make this viable just yet if the enemies ever have spikes. I don't like that, but it's true. That clearly should have gone down first. Mm-hmm. Oh boy. If I get my trample stone. No trample stone for little old Raps. At least we've killed the backliner there. You should probably take a lifesteal, otherwise you're about to have a bad time here. Oh, Umbra Stone. Here at the absolute worst possible time. You absolutely got me. How dare you? I'm afraid it's damage time for us, friends. Ooh, we're not safe on that bottom line. Not nearly as safe as I'd hoped. Speaking of not nearly as safe as I'd hoped, I'm gonna have to get the Shade Splitter down, otherwise I think I'm already dead. Now, I don't think the 15 armor killed that. I don't think the 15 armor killed that. The reason that I took the 15 armor when I did is because the enemies weren't, like, enemies here didn't just die, right? Or weren't very close to dying. They were 30, 40, 50 away, or they died. It was pretty polar along those two lines. All right, let's try another one. Two offering tokens, 2 entombed explosives, a single copy of crystalline seeds. We're playing both Stygian and melting remnants. Exiled. Not giving me Dire Channel, eh? Trying to make me use something else, eh? Alright then, fair enough. Video game, what do you want me to use? I do like Titan Channel. I mean, they're both boss fighters. action. Is the start of this turn. So I guess this is about how fast can I play out spells. And with 2 offering tokens in the deck, I can play spells quite quickly. Which would mean the Titan channel is more simple here. How would I support the HP of a Titan channel, right? Titan channel's a frontliner. I wouldn't, is the key. I actually wouldn't be doing that. Fine. Let's go with Dire Channel. I don't use Dire Channel often. I'd like to use Dire Channel here. Whenever you play a unit random card in hand costs 0 until it is played or discarded. We don't play that many units here. And we also don't have that many expensive spells. Tomb units get plus 30, protection, and 1 burnout. I kind of like that, right? Chump with the Entombed Explosives a lot more commonly. Spells gain an extra upgrade slot. Yeah, it's nice. I'm gonna take Melting Spout. Let's try and actually use those. Capricious Reflection! Cards in reward packs and unit banners come with a random upgrade. That is so much value. Now I wish I had taken the Spellstone. Let's start battle units. Yeah, sure. Enemy units may appear on each floor. I am okay with that. If I play Soul Guard on anything except for the top floor, except for the bottom floor, rather, I lose. Yeah, got me, game. Yeah, you absolutely rumbled me. Here I was, minding my own business, hoping that I get some damage. Went out of nowhere. Okay. Oop, should have cast that on the bottom floor. My win con here is very literally just like playing the burnouts constantly. We get him. In the end, death will come. Decreased costs on a Crypt Builder. Extra damage on Helical Crystallis already by base. Not bad. Help us cut down frontline units. Multi-strike and burnout 1. Don't think I want to draft here. I'm looking for more stable frontliners. Stygian Merchant, Hellvent, Divine Temple. I didn't take a unit draft here. No, I took 75 gold if I recall correctly. Quick, 25, 10. All right. Cold Kalia with Sweep and Multi-Strike. I can give them quick, but should I? I kind of like the idea of doing it like this. Let's take the Cold Kalia. I don't usually make that choice there. So the thing is, I want it quick, but I also want it to have more damage. Maybe it's a unit that I reform occasionally, even. I think I need to do any of the rest of those. I'd be searching for an endless if I was doing anything there. Yeah, so the infusion is how I get something into Colcalia for damage. Colcalia's essence isn't damage itself, is it? That's health. Dang. Alright. Unit drafts. Exactly the kind of thing we're looking for here. Fine, they'll die to their frostbite. Use the primitive mold to get back Colcalia. Let's pop you there. You have burnout too, so I can still play behind you afterwards. Yep. This'll do it. Eventually. Nice. Permafrost on the Crypt Builder. Okay, so it's held in hand until it actually does blow someone up. That's pretty big. Oh god, but Mollusk Mage. No, but I'm about to get a unit draft. We'll take the Crypt Builder. Why do you have to have a large stone? I want that molten encasement so much except for the large stone. And it's Nameless Siren. It's 100% Nameless Siren. It's Nameless Siren the entire way. I'm almost a bit sad that I'm going to be destroying it to put in someone else, but it's the Nameless Siren there, 100%. Hundo P. S&P, the choice for me. There's no way I'm duping Colcalia, is there? I can put a second one on a different floor. Make a gauntlet for the boss to go through. Well, not if I'm going to be incant stacking, I'm not. No, what I need is defense after that. What I need is frontline. How do we get that after that? Are we getting capacity? I don't think we're going capacity. So it can't just be the double entombed explosives, right? We'll just lose on the first wave. What's our front line? Because these aren't priority draws, they're harder to make our front line. Our front line might just be setting up on the top floor. Oh, don't love that. Do I really want to dupe anything right now? I'm going over here. Have a look at this Merchant of Magic. Oh yeah, that was good. Let's look at the Concealed Cavern first here. Spike the Hellhorn to Woken Rail Spike, Spike the Stygian. Feels like it should probably be a Woken Rail Spike to get as many incants off as quickly as we possibly can. Sapping the enemies is a way to try and defend myself against bosses specifically. Scaling against bosses is a big problem for us. We don't. We do. Okay. We've got one more opportunity at a Stygian Guard unit. I love how this is just given multi-strike out like candy. Hang on. It might be Harvest. Bear with me here. So, Colkelia does want damage. Definitely. It doesn't have to be too much. +5? Dealing 12 quick to the backline? It feels like I take this and then I socket it into whatever I get from that Stygian banner later on. So this is just like a chump take at the moment. I don't want it in the deck yet, but I will want it in the deck ultimately. Then Nameless Siren still needs to go in Colkelia. Still need that damage from somewhere. Purge Stone, removing a card from the deck is still pretty nice. It's quite expensive though, getting us more pack shards. Twin Stone? I mean, Twin Stone on Woken Rail Spike's not sad. But even less sad is possibly taking nothing. Yeah, let's give the Crypt Builder 110 there. And then in terms of cost reduction... We're 7? 7 is our first Merchant of Trinkets. That's so rude. Oh, that's actually really rude. Maybe I should buy a couple base removals here. At least one. Oh. I don't feel good. I don't feel any kind of good. Yeah, I'm gonna have to set up on the top floor with the raged enemies here. You burn out this turn, right? So if I set you up on the top floor, I'm fine. Because you're gonna die. Oh, but if the Awoken Railspike draws Colkelia, I'm sad. It's fine, it won't. Told you. Do I bother clearing this line? Or do I wait for them to become money? I wait for them to become money. Wait, how are they ever going to become money if Oh, they're not going to become money. I mean, maybe they become money on this line. That's some money. That's not no money. To me Explosey. Nice. Just trying to get some incant stacks on Colkelia here. So that they don't gain and lose the same amount of rage every turn. Entombed Explosive, way too healthy, doesn't even die. Uh-oh. That's not what we were hoping for. Just as many points of damage as we can score out there. So the situation is going to become problematic when they get to the top line and my HP on Colkelia is... well, it'd be nice to have some. I shouldn't get the Shiny Stewards continually killed here, though. Putting those back in the reform pool is a bad idea. Also, that final spellcast should have been on the top line. Yeah, I think we'll probably make it through this. They're jump blocking for a heck of a lot of HP by that point. Okay, and then we do have to go capacity here. Cost reduced deep offering, eh? But that's up against an ancient synergy that's also cost reduced. I mean, ancient synergy with a cost reduction. We are looking for more frontline. Yeah, it's ancient synergy though. Well, there's the God of the Unnamed. Comes into the field with Rage on. I'll be damned if it's not what I need though. And if I go to the Stygian Banner and I whiff again, you know what? We'll go to the Stygian Banner and see if we find a better version of something like that. Extinguish abilities trigger an additional time. Third card of the turn, draw one. So extinguish abilities triggering additional time is pretty good, right? It's extra 100 damage across the 2 entombed explosives. Obviously, there's more things that synergize with it later on as well. However, Winged Steel is also just across the board very, very good for us. Extra incants. That's largely what we're focused around right now. And there it is. Do I put a Guard of the Unnamed into a Guard of the Unnamed? I feel like I actually might be that desperate for frontline health. In which case, like, am I just getting rid of the Wickless Tycoon? Because I was previously thinking I would put the Wickless Tycoon into a Guard of the Unnamed. Try and reap gold that way. Maybe that's still the best idea. I think that's still the best idea, actually. Engage the pacts. Get the God of the Unnamed doing some harvesting. Still nothing I necessarily want to be spell chaining there. Diad Channel 2, 20 HP. So what, it's going to be 40 after this? Ugh. So low. Yeah, that's us done. I've only got really one more unit upgrade we want. It's just HP on the... We're fine with this. It's just HP. Mm-hmm. We're still setting up top floor. Are we? Yeah. Are we? If I want to have a hope of killing the frontliners, then yeah. I think we still need to. Good. How are we... Oh, right, because the entombed explosive isn't dying. That makes sense. Come to think about it, that actually does make sense, though. Alright, wokey rails, Spiky. Get them all better acquainted with the business here. Nice. Okay, so we can see how this top line is working. We have the defense in the Guard of the Unnamed. That's our frontline tank. We have the Colcalia for sweep, for penetration through to a back line. Also ramping damage on a boss scaling, damage scaling, etc. So HP scaling, HP, armor, defensive scaling, aggressive scaling, also aggressive scaling, but this is more individual single target. It's also good against bosses, but it's also good against frontliners of the enemies. And then we're supplementing that with spells. This is a very common style of Stygian deck for me. There's no getting around that one. This is a style of deck that I really, really enjoy running. It has more tools than I often would put into a deck. Like, here our spells are a little more dramatically important than they otherwise might be. Seraph the Chaste. I don't know if I need to silence enemy units for that. Permafrost on a Crystalline Seeds, just to help try and sweep a line. Yeah, I already have sweep. Kind of on lock. Got Rocks and Moxie, and I'm rocking some brand new Soxies. I don't know about Hoarfrost Effigy either, because Seraph the Chaste purges their own debuffs, and then TLD purges any debuff that deals damage to them, that line. So, it just feels like Hoarfrost Effigy is kind of just... It'd be the two fights where I would need it to be most useful. It is not useful. Hard pass on these. I feel like we made a decent amount of money in that fight, though. Do I really want to go to a Merchant of Steel when I only have one Merchant of Steel upgrade I want? No, I don't. I have more. I want... no, do I want to make the Entombed Explosives endless? Yes, actually. Because then I won't have to reform them. And if I don't have to reform them, then number one, I can cut all the permanent molds out of the deck, which is nice. But number two, then they won't get hit with the reform increase from permanent molds. So they will still have explosive. And every single turn, I just get to play them down. But do I really want to play that down every single turn for the sake of a draw? It's costing me a draw every turn. God, maybe I just want to go over here for the... excluding 2 cards from the deck. Double stack. Oh yeah, none of those are particularly important to double stack, I don't think. Ancient Synergy. I'd like to lower that cost. Let's have a look in here and see if we have a value stone. Spell Chain. It's really sad to have seen Spell Chain every single time there, because I didn't want to use Spell Chain at all, if possible. Are we doing this? We're putting an Entombed Explosive inside an Entombed Explosive. It doesn't seem like an awful idea. It just doesn't also seem like a great idea. How many Divine Temples do we have left? 2. 2 more sources of possible value stone. Fine. You take 1 -1. I'm gonna cut another primitive mold from the deck. Pop out here, go to the Divine Temple. I will socket the Entombed Explosive inside the other one. I mean, it's an effective removal of 1 card from the deck, if nothing else. And then we'll pass. And units appear on each floor. That's fine. They are quite weak. Yeah, especially if I get Colcalia, right? It doesn't matter. Gatos the Unnamed, Colcalia, Sulgads. Nice. Ooh, I even get to use Crystalline Seeds here for that collector. Beauty. Get him with the old Awoken Rail Spike. fine. We'll actually get that to drop the right tool there. Looks like that probably ought to be used on that line. I still do want to get the majority of my kills up here on the top line, if at all possible. Obviously, for the harvests. Yeah, there you go. Cop that. Honestly, what I really want is the Crystal Cloak just to lose turns of stealth. That's why I want that chump blocking down there. Thankfully, their stealth is not going to prevent the action shards from Soul Guard there, so I don't feel really threatened at all. Go. Frostbite's hitting for 5, but I'm hitting for 160 with the Soul Guard just in the back line there. Great money. Absolutely great money. If I didn't already have max capacity on that top floor, that Guardian Stone would be pretty good. Yeah, I can't even sock it into anyone. I think I've got to skip. Not happy about that one, to be honest, but I do have to skip, I think, there. Seraph's not debuffing us. However, Mortal Entrapment is offering me a tuned holdover. You don't turn that down. That's now my value stone target as well. Gosh. Is there something I want to Hellvent still? I think there is. When a card is discarded before the end of your turn, gain an energy. We discard so many cards. This will power up the Awoken Rail Spike, make it easier for us to hard cast the Mortal Entrapment. I don't know what to tell you. It's Kinstone Totem all the way. Hold over. So if I hold over the offering token, every turn I'm just generating an energy with it, right? That's what it's doing. It's an incant that generates an energy. It's not awful. I don't want to have that many holdover cards, though. Let's just decrease the base cost of that one. I don't think I will hit that with Value Stone. Reroll. What would I be looking for on a reroll? You don't reroll unless you know what you're finding with the reroll. And right now, other than like a simple cost reduction for like another hit on the Ancient Synergy, I mean, that still might be enough. Let me not like go out of my way to undercut the possibility of taking that. Yeah, I actually think we will. Consume removal on the Awoken Rail Spike. I'm not against it. Very much not against it. It's not where I wanted to go with that, but sometimes you just got to go, yeah, well, look, it didn't work out. We'll take what we can get. I know the Foregone Powers are part of my discard power, and I'm removing them right now, but they're inconsistent discard power. Like, if I have a card that I want to cast, and I have to cast a random discard first, I might discard the card that I'm looking to cast in order to try and get the energy to cast the card that I'm trying to cast. Sure, just... I don't know. To me, doesn't seem very valuable. It's a fun new way I say valuable. How do you think about it? Oh, wait, I actually... Wait, no, you don't. Oh, I thought because you had an odd number of HP, like, I must have the Mortal Entrapment online. I mean, I could mortal and trap you, but it would just be such a waste. Hey, didn't discard the wrong thing there. Get him, Awoken Rail Spike. Oh my god, you got him, Awoken Rail Spike. Honey, baby, sugar, darling, you're doing real well, friend. You open. Even gonna hit you with that one. The problem with the Merchant of Trinkets being so far down is now I have to save money for this and just go to it, and then I have to save money for this one and just go to it. And the big reason is because the scaling that we really want, we achieve out of double incants, right? So the incant seal, we achieve it out of anything that allows us to cheat out more spell casts per turn, anything that allows us to draw more per turn. Like, that's where our most of the remaining scaling that we have access to comes from. Maybe a Pyre Stone housing, so we can put another thing into Colcalia, but even then, like, you know, what's going to be better than what we're really using right now, you know? Because that's decent HP scaling, but it's not everything, you know? It's decent, but it could be more decent. Could be decenter. You're having a little bit of trouble with two big dudes, as we saw last line. Not prohibitive trouble with two big dudes. Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about, right? The random discarded the card I was trying to cast there. We're not having prohibitive problems with two big dudes. It's just when there are two big dudes on the field, we may end up leaking one to the top line. So trying to keep my HP as high as I possibly can feels like a premium idea for us. Yep. 17 by 4. Ooh, that'd be dangerous. Very glad I have the mortal entrapment so that I can escape any possible danger there. Excuse me. That's really disappointing. I like Deep Offering here. It's a bunch of energy. I mean, what do you want? Hustles. Have to go to the Merchant of Trinkets. Have no choice. 5 when a friendly unit dies. Don't amp them consistently. 2 spell weakness to enemy units in the top pyro room. I mean, that is where I'm going to be doing most of my fighting, right? So that amplifies the damage of Crypt Builder, of Ancient Synergy, of Helical Crystallis, of Mortal Entrapment. It's not bad. It's good enough to be a thing we take. Oh. Tethys' Scales, I guess. 50% chance to apply spell weakness 1 when an enemy enters your train. So sacking some spell weakness on the enemies. I'm feeling less comfortable about this all the time. I kind of want to get both of Foregone Powers out of the deck now. And then soon it's going to be the Primitive Molds. Let's have a wee work. Oh! Happy about that one. I don't really need to intrinsic. 7 damage per shard. Get him, Solgar the Martyr. Okay, so we do want to try and take this. Obviously, we want to try and take this. Oh, numbers enemies enter with spikes 5. Oh! This sucks. There's purifiers, so they're going to be set up on the low lines, which means I have to set up as low as I can. But I need money. I'm a baby. Wah. I have to just accept some damage from purifiers. I mean, look, I can set up on the bottom line right now. Totally do it. And then never kill the front line. Is that really what I want to do? Honestly, it'll probably help our scaling so significantly as to end up being worth it, but God, I don't feel good about this. Instant synergy for a bunch of damage here. I do like that. There you go. Oh, right, yeah, because you've got another one in. I was like, I don't have Wax the Snuffle. Why is that happening? There we go. Collector. We might now be within safer straits. Walking around Spike draws the entire rest of the deck. Offering token gets the Crypt Builder. Lay out as much as we possibly can. Okay, 11 cards in the deck. Woken Rail Spike is one of them. Okay, we generate a bunch of energy there, and then we use the Awoken Rail Spike to draw the final 5 again. Gradually, this will zero cost my entire deck. But along the passage to that point, it should just enable me to deal a bunch of damage. There we go. Waves remaining 2, so just hope there's not much spikes in the... Well, I guess boss wave. Again, we just want to hard cast as many things as we can. You're really trying, eh? Look, I gotta respect it. But I'm definitely gonna kill you. That's what I get for not going for capacity. Don't need another Mortal Entrapment. It's really offering me great tools with Capricious Reflection here. As much as I want HP on the Guard of the Unnamed, I don't know if I can afford to go over on this side. The dupe and removal is so important right now. What do I even dupe? Good question. I think it really depends. Spell Chain, Purchstone, Frost cost. We just have to hard roll here. Didn't find it. Ween Indulgence is going to save us a decent amount of HP. Probably looking at that removal there as well. Speaking of removals, the Primitive Molds are the most obvious targets here, but I also do need to now include another thing into the deck. We can include another crypt builder. Actually, that seems really good. We want to end up in the same position we were in the previous fight, right? Where we were just casting the same things every single turn, basically. Because that's consistent, that's stable. Spell Chain would be nice on something right now, actually. Like the Offering Token. Because the second one is just another incant trigger. And because it generates itself to hand for free, it is draw neutral. Alright, Seraph. They'll remove half of all buff and debuff stacks, so they are going to be removing my rage consistently here. But thankfully, we are now more of a kind of like spell synergistic deck than we were prior. Making this easier for us to really tolerate. See what I mean? Let's drop that. Hit you with a vehicle. Start out with the Mortal Entrapment. There's the Awoken Rail Spike. That'll be coming out in a moment. Nice. I'm glad this has been cost reduced, because now the spell-chained version of it is also going to be zero-costed. Getting extra energy out. Allowing us to do things like this. Ho hum, ho hum. There's no way I have any... When I say there's no way I have an infinite in here, what I mean is I possibly have an infinite in here. But it's also possible that even if I do have an infinite, it doesn't matter. Hang on. Let's try and give this one a go at the absolute least. Okay, so that draws up until there. And then if I use Woken Rail Spike, it is the only card of the discard now. So now I draw it. Right? And then we... Awoken Rail... Yeah, I have an infinite. However much damage I want, I can generate. Alright. I'm gonna stretch for a second because we're gonna be focused on doing this until the boss dies. We get 4 more damage every time we cast a spell, so it's time to strap in. We should also think about trying to make this faster if at all possible. I guess we can drop crypt builders then. But then I'm not drawing enough. No, that was fine. I drew enough. Yeah, the best way to do this is this one. We throw the crypt builders, right, constantly here. And in doing so, we... Actually, I don't even need it. I don't even know if I need the Awoken Rail Spike right now. Spell Chain is so good. Yeah, it's the Awoken Rail Spike is just the refill if I accidentally screw up. To infinity and beyond. If one should ever wonder why I often like to cut many cards out of my deck, this should be a good demonstration as to why that's something I'm so keen to do. Oh, this is so good. Crypt builds. Build this crypt here. We actually may just infinite the TLD as well. The TLD, the last Divinity. Okay, drop that one. Another one out of here. Take all that draw, getting back to our juiciest cards. Oh, this is perfect. This is my ideal deck. Do I just go all the way with the crypt builders? Let's just go all the way with the crypt builders. Let's not even let anyone else interact here. Why are we doing this? Well, it's because we can, you see. That's why. Get him with a crypt builder. And again. Rail spike. I'm a hard cast the final crypt builder here. Get him. My armrest has failed me. Perfection. So I'm looking to set up on top floor. Nice zero costing right there. Let's draw our way into new hands. My god, we're all already getting quite close to where I ultimately need to be. Are we going to turn 2 this? It might take a little longer if I try and do it right now, but I think we can. I'm wrong, aren't I? I guess it depends what this draws. I think we can do it, yeah. So we need one more positive energy to be able to consistently do this right now. Yeah, because right now I'm... Wait, hang on. Now that I have that offering token back in hand, I think I now have it. It's the one with Spell Chain. I just need the amount of cards in my draw and discard pile, respectively, or respectively, rather combined, to equal the amount of Ember that I have. And as soon as that happens, it's infinite time, baby. For those of you who are like, okay, I get the gist of what's going on here. Well, hopefully you enjoyed the episode. My name's Rhapsody. Playlist in the description down below for all my content of the game past, present, and future. There's still time left in the fight. Nothing's really going to change the outcome. We're done. This is straight up a completion. I'm also really, really glad, in fact, that this was an Infinite that came together very, very close to the end of the game. Because you know, obviously being a content creator, I have perspectives outside of my own that I have to consider from, I was about to say from time to time, but, you know, they are often a very, very heavy consideration. And for that reason, I recognize that watching someone infinite for an entire hour, especially if it's a relatively slow one, is not necessarily extremely exciting. It's one of the reasons that I stopped aiming for infinites in a couple different games, or at least started aiming for them significantly less often. I still like doing them from time to time, but, you know, there was a fair period of time where, you know, every second episode was an infinite. And that's too much. I like that kind of prevalence in the Downfall series, which is not gone, by the way. It's just hasn't happened recently. It's still happening. Just been spreading myself thin. I don't know. I don't know what to talk about. And every time I say something, I'm like, oh, I could add, you know, 17 different clauses to that to clarify myself better. I think I've gotten to the point that I just have to recognize, like, human communication is imperfect and I will occasionally be misunderstood. And while I can do whatever I can to try and avoid that where possible, the amount of time that I spend squirreling down different clauses to try and clarify myself over and over, at a certain point, I think I'm overdoing that. I gotta start thinking of communication as more imprecise than that, as something that is more of an art than a science. I've thought about it like this a lot of the time, right? Like, my communication to an audience, to a viewer, to a community, to anyone, frankly, outside of, like, professional circumstances where I have to, you know, doctor an email or something like that, right? I've started to think about them kind of more like a choir, where, you know, if you have a choir in front of you and someone's singing a bit dull, right? Someone's like droning a little bit, right? No offense meant, that was me in my choir, right? If someone is, you can still hear the choral sound, right? And everyone being, you know, like, little degrees either way averages out over the course of kind of like a choral performance, right? And so the idea is that if you hear enough of a person speak, you get a reasonable idea of who they are and all of those kinds of things, right? And not necessarily any one voice is the choir, right? Not necessarily any one sentence is me, I think, is the clearest distillation of that I can have. It's a point kind of like aside, but it's a point that I keep thinking about consistently when it comes to video games, creating content, streaming, etc. For the moment, though, by the way, as we loop ourselves back to the game for a second, my name has been Rhapsody. The name of the game has been Monster Train. We've done an infinite. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves. That was the deck. And hopefully we'll see you next time.